I know, I'm going to say here is controversial, and you guys might be wondering why I'm defending this trope. To be fair, there are valid criticisms about the damsel trope where female characters don't have personality and they're only used as plot device to be trophy for the male protagonist. But is this with all damsel characters? Over the past months, I've been seeing the controversy around strong independent women who need no man. Some of these modernized characters came to make me appreciate some things about the damsel trope in the past history of filmmaking. Look, damsel characters is not everyone's cup of tea, and that is fine. Now, before I start defending this trope, I did miss some of the point of view in my last video called The Rise of Feminist Propaganda in Entertainment. A lot of the strong female characters in this generation are not so heroic as a male protagonist. The trope difference I found between males and females. With strong female characters, they're so self-centered, only care about their desires, what they want, without caring for others just for the sake of smashing the patriarchy, which could lead to narcissism. But with male heroic characters, they go through hardships in the past, become to be selfless after their character arc of correcting their flaws, which makes these men have a level of integrity while caring and making sacrifices for others. And no wonder why people seem to resonate more with these characters than the strong female character. If you look at characters like Mulan, she didn't join the male-dominated Chinese military to break stereotypes. She did it because she cared about her father, who was disabled, to take his place as a soldier. Now that is a character who has heroism. I think there is a big difference between strong independent women who need no man versus Mulan. The only damsel character I can remember I didn't like so much is Mary Jane because she's annoying. She doesn't add much to the story and also keeps cheating on her boyfriend Peter. Aurora, I didn't care about her character. The only thing I relate to her is sleeping. Now, obviously damsel in distress have been heavily criticized, how they're useless, bad role models for young girls, especially with traditional princesses, and how it's sexist that a man is saving their life. I will admit having the same trope over and over again can be boring because there should be diverse range of characteristics. However, so some of these characters who have been criticized are not bad characters. Since we all know damsel in distress is basically a woman gets captured by the villain and the heroic character who saves her life from danger. I don't think people realize that there are different directions you can take with these tropes rather than having the classic version all over again. You could have a princess in the tower get saved by the knight shining armor, and she could become a queen, being the leader in a kingdom, and maybe there's romance in the end. Or a gothic romance movie about a damsel, instead of her falling in love with the hero, she falls in love with the villain. There are many options you can do with these tropes where a damsel is trying to get out of the situation she's in just to keep the audience invested what's gonna happen next, but obviously she can't because she needs to be rescued and there's teamwork in the end getting out of the dangerous situation they're in. You can look at examples from Princess Leia in Star Wars where she gets rescued by her brother, but both of them had to work together to get out of the Death Star. Leia is a great example of a unstereotypical damsel who has agency. I think we all know what the fiasco has been happening with Disney recently. You look at characters like Cinderella and Snow White, where these characters were victim blamed in the abusive situation they were in.
Cinderella, banned, because, you know, she waits around for a rich guy to rescue her. Don't rescue yourself, obviously.
It is never cool for any man that you don't know to kiss you in your sleep without consent.
She's not going to be safe with a prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
The whole point of the damsel is that she's a victim. A lot of people in the past have been criticizing these characters not saving themselves without even understanding the context of the story.
You save yourself.
Cinderella, obviously, she has been living in an abusive household that is not easy to get out of ever since she was a child when her father died. And of course, she didn't go to the ball because she wanted a rich dude who's handsome. No, because she wanted to go to the ball so she can catch a break from the stress and the anxiety she's been going through. And people seem to miss that she didn't get saved by the prince, actually. It's actually the mice who got her out from being locked in a room by her stepmother. As for Snow White, and I'm really glad people are starting to defend her since she's been getting a lot of shit in the past years, she's someone that can be a good role model for young girls since she shows empathy and kindness. Sure, there are flaws side of her character where she is naive when takes the apple from the strange old lady, but the whole point of the story is stranger danger, which again can give good morals to young children. Even though the main protagonist does get saved by the prince, her whole character arc was about survival, being traumatized going into the dark forest and finds a small house that dwarves live in just so she can get away from her psychopathic stepmother who is jealous of her beauty. And no, Rachel, Snow White doesn't need to learn how to become a leader, because she already knows that. She literally girl bosses over the dwarves how to behave.
We see your hands!
Both of these Disney princesses represent optimism, even though they're being teared down by their abusers. And to be honest, they're not stereotypical damsels, no matter how many people think that these characters, oh my god, they're so dated. I also want to mention a character named Buttercup that is a good damsel representation. If anyone who's watched The Princess Bride, it's actually about a beautiful woman and her love interest. He has to find her after a long separation and save her from battling the evils of mythical kingdom of Florin to be reunited with each other. The main protagonist is a character who stands what she believes in which she chooses her love life being a farmer rather than marrying the antagonist, the king, and in her kingdom. What's interesting is that she's not really a feminine type of character who is naive, but more mature. I do want to talk about damsel in distress, femme fatale, and heroine, three-dimensional character trope, which is something that we don't see much in entertainment. If you're unfamiliar with femme fatale trope, it's actually a deadly woman who is attractive, uses her feminine power to seduce a man to get what she wants. That could sometimes in movies lead to danger or chaos. In most movies, we don't get to see female characters that are mysterious, but this trope definitely has these qualities. But what I really wanted to point out is having a mixture of this trope can change how people perceive this trope, and could make a perfect female character in some movies. This three-dimensional trope could be a woman who needs her man. This man may not look at the woman lower than him. He believes she's intelligent and strong, which also makes her a heroine when we see these strengths that she has, but sometimes she has this need for him. And then we could add to the femme fatale trope about her beauty or her personality, how much she made her partner possessed by her love and chaos she's brought into this world for him. But I do think this could be an interesting love or fantasy story. And I know a lot of radical film critics and media are going to look at romance or women being saved by a man a bad thing, but to be honest, they're women who fantasize these things. There's no surprise why romance novels and genres are sold and consumed by mostly women. To be honest, the whole point of my video is that there's nothing wrong with a female character being saved by someone. Just because someone is being saved doesn't always automatically make them damsels. And look, I also don't think there's anything wrong with a man being saved by a woman in fiction as well. And it doesn't always have to be physical saving someone's life, but also mental, which could be a unique portrayal for women in film. Saving someone's life from the opposite sex, not in a physical way, but mental or emotional. And I do think some movies, or Hollywood in general, need to stop glorifying hyper-independence, especially within female characters. But yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope I made like a decent essay video, but anyway, let me know. Subscribe to my channel, like, and all that, and I'll see you guys. Bye!